The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Hi guys, I'm Lex.
And I'm Liv.
And today
We'll be the judges.
Alright, hi guys, editing Lexi here. So, for whatever reason, the first part of this video, the mics decided to not work. So the mics that you're gonna hear are gonna be from my phone. But then, midway through, they just popped back on. Don't really know what happened. But yeah, if it doesn't sound the same, that's why. But hopefully that won't happen again. But anyways, love you, bye.
This is Blake.
And we got two.
And this is Bella.
Anything to say?
Speak your piece.
How about you, Bella?
Bella, what about you? Bella, look. I don't think she has anything. Where are you going, Belle? Come here.
Today, we're going to be doing Am I the Assholes?
Because we need a break.
The last two episodes we've recorded
If you see we're in the same clothes,
have been
that's
real
because,
intense.
That's because we've been filming all day, yesterday, and
And
all
today.
day today.
Yesterday, we have 4.5 hours of footage. Today,
Earlier
we
were 3,
was
basically.
3. So, we're going
We
to
need a quickie.
light.
We need a quickie.
We're going to do a quickie real fast. We each have a couple readings, and then we're going to, you be the judges, which
We always are.
we are. But we're real going to be the judges this time.
Okay, is it my turn first?
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bella.
All right, so read the title, and then we're going to just think, what do we think it is from that, and then read it, and we'll see if our opinions change.
Okay, am I the asshole for not going with my boyfriend to his friend's wedding?
I'm going to say no.
If you've been dating for longer than a year,
Yes.
If you haven't, no. My 33 female, boyfriend 34 male, friend is getting married in a few months, and we were invited. The groom is a child friend of my boyfriend's that a few years ago moved to another town, which is where the wedding would be. Same country, but far enough that we have to fly there. In the same day, I also need to attend a conference in my field of work that is going to be held in yet another city, significantly far from the wedding location. The conference is a pretty big event, and I'm going to make a presentation of my teamwork. Unfortunately, the last day of the conference is also the day of the wedding. When I told my boyfriend I could not attend the wedding because of it, he got upset and asked me if I could skip it or leave a day early. I told him I cannot skip it since it is an important event for me and my team. I can't leave early because I need to present for the entire duration to get my attendance certificate, which I need for my CV and other related stuff. Also, I don't even know which day my presentation is going to be yet. Hence, I cannot decide anything beforehand. I tried to come up with other solutions, like taking a train right after the conference is over, since the wedding is late in the afternoon, but I found it would take over 8 hours and wouldn't make it. Also, by plane, it would take too long because the airport is a few towns over. My boyfriend got mad at me for this, didn't explicitly say it, but we had a conversation on the way to meet some friends, and he barely spoke to me the entire night. I get that he's not happy about it, but I don't get why he's mad at me. To me personally, it would be different if it was family member's wedding, whether mine or his, or a close friend to both of us, in which case I would choose to skip part of the conference and arrange someone else to do the presentation. However, I think it's different since I don't even know the bride and groom. I briefly met the groom twice, and I never met the bride, which means they're not going to be upset if I'm not there. Only my boyfriend is. I don't think it's wrong to choose what to sacrifice depending on the people you're sacrificing it for. In other cases, my boyfriend has skipped events in my family for things I consider good reasons, such as work or things he scheduled with his friends prior to the family invite. Also, I wanted to mention that we would be going to the wedding with other people from my boyfriend's friend group, so he would not go alone. Anyways, so please tell me if I'm the asshole for thinking that there's nothing wrong with my boyfriend attending his friend's wedding without me.
I think no.
I don't think so either.
I don't think you're the asshole.
I don't think you're the asshole.
Especially for the fact
that you're clearly getting a certificate for something that you'll need.
At the beginning, I was like, okay, well, you could have, like, figured out a way to compromise or whatever. But the fact that you don't know the bride or groom, and, like, he's not going to be alone. Like, he's going to have people there as well and stuff. And I don't think you are. You could have figured something out, but also, if it's not somebody close to you that you know and he has made it a point to not go to family events, then I think a friend's wedding is, not that big of a deal. Alright, am I the asshole for kicking out my roommate's boyfriend? No.
I don't think so either.
If you live in it, you have the right to say who can and can't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
agree.
I, a 20-year-old female, share an apartment with my roommate, who's 25, female. We've lived together for over a year, at least for a year previously, and now into our 5th month of a renewed lease.
Feliz Navidad.
Over this time, our 3rd roommate has changed 3 times. My roommate got a boyfriend 2 months into our first lease. Since then, our relationship has been more transactional than friendly. So they were just, like, there because they were roommates.
They weren't, like, actually friends.
A few months into their relationship, I asked her to bring him over less often because they were loud and preventing me from freely using common spaces. She agreed, but instead of bringing him over less, she decided to secretly bring him over every night and sneak around to avoid me. At least they were now mindful about the noise in common spaces. Later, I discovered he had a key to our apartment and was here when she wasn't. I expressed my discomfort again, and she acknowledged it but didn't take action. Since then, his toothbrush and shower products have moved in. She cooks and buys groceries for 2 people, but he is here every single night. They tiptoe around the apartment, trying to hide that he's here more than our actual 3rd roommate, and still has a key, which I never consented to. It has now been a year.
Why isn't he just their 3rd roommate then? But
why don't they just get their own apartment?
That too.
It's now been a year since I first raised the issue. I decided to confront her more bluntly yesterday. She agreed to talk but avoided me for days, so I had to hunt her down. I asked her to limit his presence to less than 50% of the time, max 3 nights a week. She blatantly lied to my face, claiming he's only here 1 to 2 nights a week, and denying all of my observations. I let it go when she mentioned she wasn't renewing the lease again. The next day, I heard her leave for work, but noticed her boyfriend was still in the apartment. This is a recurring scenario. I overheard him using the bathroom and decided to confront him. He clearly heard me nearby because after unlocking the door, he stayed in the bathroom for several minutes. After he thought the coast was clear, he opened the door slightly, only to hear me in our living room, and he closed the door again. I finally had enough. I knocked and he didn't respond, so I asked, "Is someone here?" He said, "Yeah, it's me." I asked, "Does my roommate know you're here?" He stammered and said, "Yeah," and then randomly turned on the faucet. I replied, "I spoke to her yesterday, and she said you're not supposed to be here." He lied and said he just came to get something. Not true. He's been here all night, and it's now 12 p.m. I let it go and walked away. He left the apartment, locking the door with the key my roommate gave to him. I felt gaslit and disrespected, so I sent my roommate a few texts explaining what had happened and how I was frustrated at the situation. I know I should have properly dealt with this earlier, but I've been swamped with school and work. It's exhausting trying to track her down since she avoids confrontation so much. If we had an honest conversation, I would be willing to compromise. Am I the asshole? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Suck it up.
Well, because yes,
her boyfriend
you live there, but also she lives there as well.
Yeah, like if her boyfriend wants to be there all the time, is it probably annoying? Yes, but if they're quiet about it, why does it matter that he's there every night?
I understand the
beginning when they were being loud.
And I understand maybe the
her gaslighting and like the key's a little crazy,
or at least like she didn't tell you about it, so I understand that. But also
I get the frustration, but like why do I'm sorry, you're the asshole. Why do you care so much?
Why do you get to dictate how many times she's allowed to be there?
Like, or that's her boyfriend,
and have a conversation about, hey, I'm uncomfortable
because she said I was willing to compromise with him being able to come like 3 days a week. If you're, however, I'm sure they're 20.
They're in their 20s.
20 and 25. Her roommate's 25 years old. If she wants her boyfriend to live with her and live in her apartment, yes, it's shared. But if she's 25 years old and she wants her boyfriend to live in her apartment with her, clearly she loves him. He's not doing anything to bother you. Is it uncomfortable that he's there when you're, like, home alone? Yes, but at the same time, if you would have built a relationship a little bit better with them...
Go pick it up. Then it would be fine. And it's not like he's doing anything to hurt her or, like, creep her out or something. Like, he's genuinely just there. His presence is a bother.
His presence is a bother.
Oh.
You're old enough to get your own place, but at the same time, you don't have to be a bitch.
You can have a conversation with her. Hey, what about you guys getting your own place or something like that? But maybe she's working towards that. Maybe they're working on it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're working on that, but if you don't let them talk.
Well, not even just that. I think that it's just you being a baby.
Yeah, like it's not that
You
deep.
are 20 years old. Is she an only child? There's things that we need. There's little evidence that we need. Are you an only child? Because if you're an only child, you don't get it. And if you aren't, then you grew up with a great family. Because my brother's girlfriend is always over and I hear them too much. So, and I don't complain. Do I complain to my parents? Yes. Do I tell them bang on my wall sometimes to shut the fuck up? Yes. But, like, he lives there too. I'm not going to be like, oh, don't have your girlfriend over anymore. You know what? She can only come over 2 nights a week and has to leave by 10. Because obviously she doesn't sleep over. But, no school nights, and she has to leave by 10, and I don't want to hear you, and you can only see her 1 night a week.
Oh.
But it's different when you own the home.
Yeah.
Or if it was your apartment and she was living there and you were like,
but
hey,
then you're both on the lease.
That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. Like, if I owned an apartment and I let Lexi stay there,
Bitch, it would be the other way around.
No, this is just my example.
If I own an apartment.
If Lexi owned an apartment, Jesus, and she was letting me live there, and I had a boyfriend, and I brought him over every single night, and she was like, hey, listen, it makes me kind of uncomfortable. Like, you gave him a key. It's not really your apartment. Like, I don't feel comfortable with him being there if you're not there, number one, and number two, that he has a key, and number three, that you guys are loud and you're with each other every single night. So, and then that's when you be a good, like, I don't know. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But you're more of the asshole than she is.
But also she could just get her own apartment at this point.
Am I the asshole for asking my... Am I the asshole for asking my father to choose between luxury trips and his son's basic needs?
No. I feel like there's a pretty solid answer there.
No. Depends on your age, but...
No, but if you have a really severe medical
problem, that's true.
It doesn't matter how old you are.
That's true. My brother, male 21, and I, female 31.
Oh, wait. It's the sister talking about her brother.
Yes.
Oh.
Have negative...
Try again. Navigated.
Let me get there. I was zooming in, number one. And number two, I read a lot today. My brother, male 21, and I, female 31, have navigated life independently since I was 15. Our parents separated when we were 12 and 2. After the separation,
that's like me and Brayden.
Yeah. After the separation, our mother's mental health declined significantly. Depression confined her to bed while I cared for my brother, often missing school. At 15, our mother began receiving treatment at various facilities while our father built a new life with his new partner. Our mother spent most time receiving care, heartbroken, and watching us grow up without support. Meanwhile, our father explored the world with his new wife, visiting only to share photos of their adventures before departing again. Until my brother turned 18, our father provided minimal financial support, claiming concerns about our mother's access to it At 18, my brother was diagnosed with an auditory schizophrenia.
Your favorite.
Stop. Not anymore. It's actually really sad.
Oh, you don't want to be schizophrenic anymore?
No. Explaining many behaviors I noticed. I initially kept this from our father, who dismissed mental health concerns. After my brother's crisis, I had to tell him. His only response was, everything will be better. 6 months later, our mother transitioned. Nope.
It is transition.
Yeah, transitioned unexpectedly due to
She died.
untreated
Pneumonia.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad. After my brother expressed thoughts of medical professionals recommended home care with constant supervision. I left my bookstore position and worked freelance and supported him. Things seemed stable until my brother's condition worsened and our finances deteriorated. Last year, rent consumed my entire monthly income. We relied on community kitchens and friends for our food, while our father remained distant from our struggles. Yesterday, I desperately asked him for help with my brother's expenses. He replied, I don't earn enough and won't let my wife pay more household bills than me. I don't want her supporting me. This from someone who travels thrice yearly.
Probably 3 times.
That's probably. Travels 3 times yearly and dines out regularly. Jesus. I'm seeing letters. I'm seeing letters.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. While we survive on basics, when I couldn't respond, he twisted the situation to appear victimized. My friend's advice, legal action.
Advised against legal action.
Oh my God. My friend advised against legal action, citing costs and time. The disability pension remains pending. I need help but can't stay idle. I want to keep pushing, but tell me, am I the asshole for asking my father between luxury trips or my son's basic needs? No.
Your dad's an asshole.
Your dad's dirt under my shoe. If you know your son is struggling from schizophrenia, which I will fight, that is one of the worst mental illnesses out there.
You're playing games with your head, with yourself.
And you don't know that you're
it's not real.
You don't. If I see a man standing over there doing the monkey jig at me, you don't see it, but I do. So I'm going crazy that there's a man doing the monkey jig, but you don't see it.
And I can't say anything that's gonna make you believe it's not there.
Exactly. Like I said,
and I think she said auditory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means he's
hearing voices.
Yeah.
So he's hearing voices and hearing things, telling him to do this, telling him to do that, or just telling him things in general. My one friend's aunt has schizophrenia, and it's really bad, and it's scary, and...
Yeah. No, I think if your dad actually cared about you, I'm sorry, or cared about you guys, he wouldn't be on trips, he'd be home helping. Mm-hmm. But not even that. If he has a wife, I'm sorry, but she can pay some more bills.
Yeah.
Your kids are more important than your wife not paying
like
bills.
She said, you're dining out and you're going on trips 3 times a year, you can cut down some trips and stop. If your wife, you don't want her to pay for whatever, at least have her cook for you.
Well, not even that. Your ego doesn't, you can knock your ego down a little bit to have your wife pay a couple more bills than you because you're supporting your children.
Son. If you're supporting your son who has a mental illness, I'm sorry, you're not a less of a man just because you're supporting your son and you're not paying for some bills.
No, you're not the asshole, and that actually makes me really mad.
That upsets me. I want to know who your father is. Thank God you didn't put your name, because I would have fucking Googled him and told him off, because that is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, God bless if I ever have a kid and my husband does that, dead or alive, I'm coming after that fucking bitch. Doesn't matter.
Alright. Am I the asshole for asking to be paid to babysit a kid I live with, even though my sister has a minimum wage job?
Yes. If you're already there.
Yeah, if it's in a way that's like, hey, just like watch over them, get them food. Yeah, but if it's like no hands on, like don't like, I
Okay,
can understand.
but is she living in her house?
Let's read.
Okay, read.
I'm an 18-year-old college student who plans to transfer to a university in the spring of 2026. Baby girl,
You got a year.
you got time.
You got a year.
No, you have like a long time. Okay.
Spring of 2026. You have more than a year.
I am also the designated babysitter for my 3-year-old nephew while my 2 sisters, Bailey, 24, mom of the nephew, and Abby, 20, they go to work. I have been babysitting for long hours for months and doing so for almost free. But every time I mention that she should be paying me, she gets upset and defensive. Context. I watch my nephew for about 48 hours a week, 10 hours on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and 10 to 18 hours on weekends. And more on nights Bailey asks me to babysit while she goes out after work. The most I remember getting paid within the past year was $100 overall, and those were the times I would watch him for multiple days when she's out of town. This wasn't much of a problem before, since I had recently graduated and had nothing to do except babysit and my internship. However, I need to raise money for a part of my tuition that FAFSA and scholarship don't cover, on top of getting my own car. And since the best job I could find right now is minimum wage, and I would only be able to work weekends due to babysitting and school, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will not be able to get enough money. And since I would be expected to help with groceries and rent while I get a steady income, it's even less.
Wait, so she's paying her...
He's paying her to live there. The only option I have is to either get more hours or get paid for babysitting, and only one of those is possible right now. I know that paying me means that would put a dent in Bailey's wallet. Most of her money goes to her son and getting Ubers to work, and I can't put him in daycare due to funds and lack of a car. Plus, she doesn't believe she needs to pay me since we live together and we're family. Although both of those facts are true, I'm down to do her favor since she's broke. But money is something I need, and if her situation is the only reason why I cannot get all the money I need, constantly paying me even just a little, I feel I should be the bare minimum. Especially
So if she's already paying rent, why doesn't she just move out?
Especially since it's probably not a full rent if it's her sister's. Especially since she has a full-time job, and I know she does not spend all of her money on just my nephew and work. I told her a few days ago, and we had a long discussion on how she believes not only she should not have to pay me, but doesn't feel like I should be refusing to babysit / asking for pay when she asks for non-work related reasons, since she needs a break too, saying I was lucky she paid me over the times that she wanted to be nice. I said she can have the break, but implying I should watch him for free without complaint is bullshit. The fact that we are family should make her want to pay me for watching her son for 48 hours a week, every week. She gets irritated every time I bring up the topic of being paid both during and after the discussion, and she hasn't given up her view and that I'm being selfish. I don't think you're the asshole.
I don't think you're the asshole either, because I thought if it was like, oh, she's going out on Friday nights, every Friday night or every Saturday, and you're watching her kid, like, okay.
No,
come on.
48 hours a week.
48 hours a week. Exactly. And if you don't have enough, if she doesn't have enough money to pay you, she doesn't have enough for a babysitter, so then she doesn't have enough for a daycare, which I understand.
But she's also saying that she's going out afterwards.
That's what I'm saying. So, and you need time too, but your time is while you're at work. You're not with your kid, depending on what she works. You're really not with your kid during work.
You can't say you don't have money to pay whoever's, I don't know.
If you're going out.
If you're then going out.
If you have money to go out after work, then you have money to pay.
I don't know if it's a she or he, but whatever. They weren't asking for like all the time. They weren't asking for a lot. They were just asking for a little bit.
Like maybe the 48 hours a week. Give me like $30. Give me $30.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
50 maybe.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
50 a week
for 48 hours.
But listen, clearly for her, 48 hours is nothing.
But like I understand, because it is affecting your school. It's affecting everything.
Because it's affecting your time that you could be working.
So
if she's trying to get money.
But I do agree. Like, I like the way that they said it. Either find a babysitter so I can go work then, or pay me. Which I think is fair.
I think that's very fair. And if you can't afford a babysitter, figure something out.
Because I don't even think she was talking about when she's working. I think she was talking about on weekends when she's not working.
Yeah, but she said she watches them for 10 hours.
10 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 10 to 18 hours on weekends.
Yeah. So what's going on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays that she can't watch her kid?
Work. Apparently.
What times does she fucking work?
That's true. So I that's hard. It's kind of both.
Hire a babysitter. If you can't afford a babysitter, get a better job or put them in daycare.
Yeah. And well, like, even though you're there, that is a lot of time, especially since you're 18.
You could be working a lot of jobs.
You're 18, she's 24. So she chose to have the kid.
She chose to have a kid at a young age with not a very good job, clearly.
That's her responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility to deal with a kid.
And what if you didn't live there?
And yes, you're being kind, but the fact that she's forcing you without any compensation is a little hard because, yeah, you're being kind, but she can't just continue to walk all over you and think that she's going to get free childcare.
But what if you didn't live there? What is she going to do if you didn't live there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, if you were not staying at her house, she would either have to hire a babysitter or you'd have to figure out a way to drive to her house Monday, Wednesday, Friday to watch them for 10 hours to then drive back to wherever you live.
No, I don't think you're the asshole.
No, you're not the asshole. Okay. Am I the asshole for not being a safe place for my best friend? Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That should be the safest.
Correct. I, 19 female, have been best friends with Melissa, 26 female, since September.
Whoa! That's a big, big, big age. Hey.
Since September, so barely.
Don't hate on me.
I am a shy introvert, whereas Melissa is very is a very opinionated and strong.
Oh God, is this us?
She speaks her mind, commands a room, etc., which I admire. Our friendship has been fairly smooth. We had never fought before. Sometimes she would make commitments that bother me. She would make comments that bother me, like she hates 19-year-olds or calling me emotional. She vents to me about friends, school, her kids, etc., but I rarely vent to her. Melissa is a hypochondriac and vents to me about health concerns. That's you. You're a hypochondriac.
Not really.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Not to the extent. But if you read somebody with an illness, you automatically think that you have it. You're like, ooh, no, that's hurting a little bit. And then you'll be like, wait, no, I'm fine. And then no, but like, you're not a hypochondriac to the point where you're like, I actually need to go to the hospital.
No.
And like, you'll read something and be like, oh, this person had pain here. I had pain there the other day. But it's fine. And then you'll let it go and then it won't come back because you'll forget.
Yeah.
But there are times where you're actually in pain and you need to go. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you read something like, oh, I twisted my ankle. Ooh, well, my ankle hurt 2 weeks ago.
No. No, it's more like when something
my ankle's starting to hurt right now.
No, it's more like when something is wrong and I look up stuff.
Yes.
Like Dr. Google.
Yes.
That's not
Google told me I have 15 minutes. I love everybody. This is my farewell. And then you live for another 15 years. Like, you do that a lot, though. Like, you're like, uh-oh, my appendix are bursting. And you go and they're like, actually, there's nothing wrong with you. I know. Mind you, I'm getting surgery on my foot, and I get a text, hey, I'm going to the hospital.
You were on FaceTime with me.
Yeah, I was on FaceTime, and you were like,
you told me to go.
Because you were like, oh, man, my hearts.
It hurt.
I didn't say it. I'm not saying it hurt, but I was like, I'm going to surgery. Just go to the doctor. I'm not going to worry about you. I'm getting surgery. Just go. If it hurts that bad, I want you to go. And I get a text. Oh, they think my appendix burst right when I woke.
They did. They literally told me we think your appendix is going to burst. They told me we think your appendix is going to burst. You're not allowed to eat, so that if we have to take you into surgery, you're ready.
I know. And that was right before
You're telling that to me? You're telling me that you might have to take me to surgery. You're telling me I'm not allowed to eat or drink water.
and then I wake up from 2 hours on anesthesia with 2 screws in my foot to her being like, oh, I'm actually fine. There was nothing wrong. I'm just dehydrated. And I was like, bitch! The first thing I said when I woke up was, "Can I have my phone? I want to make sure Lexi's okay." And my mom goes, "Yeah." So she gave me my phone.
And I have a video.
And I
died.
The first picture that she sent me from my awoken from the dead was, "Oh, I'm fine. I was just dehydrated. I didn't drink water for 4 days."
I really didn't know.
So her insides were drying up.
No, but like they literally told me that I wouldn't have said that.
That was before.
No, but I wouldn't have said my appendix was gonna burst if they didn't tell me they thought my appendix was gonna burst.
I know. No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, there wasn't nothing wrong. I had a cyst that bursted.
Oh, no, then that was a different time. You went to the hospital.
Oh no, that was in February. No, that was after my tonsils because I couldn't eat or drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I literally couldn't eat or drink. No, I had a cyst that burst.
Oh, okay.
I had an ovarian cyst that burst.
Okay, I just was wondering. I didn't, because I was going into surgery, and I got told you were going into surgery as they were wheeling me out.
I was also told I was going into surgery.
It was just funny. Basically, what I'm saying is she Googled doctors everything.
But that wasn't Google Doctor. That was Doctor.
I know, but Google Doctor told you were gonna die. So then you had in your head that you were gonna die.
Yeah, they can't even find my appendix ever. So where is it? I didn't mean to. I didn't want. I wasn't my goal. I
know.
I didn't want to go or tell you I was going.
Stop it. I was joking. I thought that was the time that you were just dehydrated. A couple weeks ago, when we were texting, she said she has eye twitches and thinks that she has a brain tumor.
So, okay, I'd say that as a joke. I said my eye twitching, I think I have a brain tumor.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be like no, like I genuinely have a brain tumor.
Look at it. Look at it switching. I have a brain tumor now. I'm blinking. Oh my god.
I'm blinking. I have a brain tumor.
My eyes are blinking.
Like, what?
Yeah. Okay. Usually I would likely have talked her through it. However, my mother has brain cancer. Oh my god. Was recently diagnosed and is still undergoing treatment. I have seen that life being drained out of her. It's been difficult. I have been one to hold my family together. I give up on my dream school to stay close to home. Melissa knows about my mother's brain cancer literally 3 days before I had broke down in front of her about it. When she said it, I froze and started crying. Tried to stay impartial, but ended up asking why she discussed this with me. She accused me of not being a safe place. I feel like she could have discussed her anxiety about this concern with someone else. She told me that defeated the purpose of a safe place, and she has not voiced her discomfort when I vent. She also told me she had already discussed this with another friend weeks prior, so I don't understand why she is talking about it with me. She also said, "Sorry you feel that way. This bothers me because she told me how much she hates when people say that, yet she uses it on me." I voiced this and she said, "Okay, I understand." I have forgiven her and assumed since it was our first argument that we would move past it, since I considered her one of my best friends. Next in-person meeting, she ignored me the entire time. She stopped sharing her location with me. She removed me from her close friend's story. She started telling people 19-year-olds are immature. I asked why she stopped sharing her location, and if something happened, she left me undelivered. I asked friends about it, and my friend, who knows both of us, said she was in the wrong. But an older friend who doesn't know her said that I should have let her vent since she did the same thing for me. If I had known she was uncomfy when I vented to her, I would have stopped. She had never noticed it.
Never voiced it.
This is also my first time expressing boundaries to her. She has done so with me several times. I can't tell if I'm being immature, but I don't understand where I went wrong. Am I the asshole for not being a safe place for my best friend? No.
Mm-mm.
She should not have talked. Like, if she knew that your mom just had, is going through brain surgery, not surgery, is going through a brain cancer, why would you feel the need
to say you have
to say that you think you have a brain tumor because your eye is twitching?
Because even if her mom was like in an okay place, then she would start to be anxious about you
having it too.
No.
Like, either way, she is at fault in this. If Lexi knew, or I knew Lexi's mom had brain cancer, and my eye started twitching, and I would not even jump to the conclusion of a brain tumor. You know what? A lot more than just an eye twitch would happen if you had a brain tumor. Your speech would be stuttered. There's other things that lead up to a brain tumor, not just a little eye twitch.
But also, how she said at the end, it was her first time, expressing boundaries. There's a way that you can talk about something with somebody without, in a way that's not gonna make them be triggered about it, especially if they tell you. We've done that.
What?
Where I was like, hey, you can talk to me, but don't tell me everything because I can't.
Yeah.
Like, if you're saying,
if I'm talking to somebody, I'm talking to somebody, like, if I'm talking to her about something and she kind of starts staring off, or she starts biting her nail, or she starts picking at something, I automatically know, hey, okay, that's enough. The conversation's over. Move on.
Or find a way to get me out of it.
Exactly.
Which she's really good at.
Or saying, hey, come on. It's okay. If you don't want to talk about it, we're done.
Or sometimes you're like, no, bitch.
Or even if she's talking about something and is upsetting her, she starts biting her nails, or she starts picking at something. If it's upsetting you, take a break, but keep talking.
Yeah.
Just stop biting your nails, stop picking at your skin. You have to say it somehow.
Yeah, no.
Because again, nothing's ever gonna, this is my biggest thing, is unless you say something, nothing's gonna get solved. And unless you bring up what's bothering you, it's never gonna change unless you know.
Yeah.
And even if you do bring it up, but the other person doesn't see it, unless you shove it in their face and say, well, look, this is what you're doing this is why I think this, and you call it out, then that person, or you remember it, or you give a scenario, that person's never gonna understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm talking and you're constantly looking around, or you're looking at the floor, or you're looking at your phone, and I don't think that you're listening to me, unless I say, hey, I'm talking to you, you're not gonna put your phone down, you're not gonna stop looking around, you're not gonna pay attention.
Yeah.
But if
you're calling someone your best friend, and you should know their cues.
Well, not even just cues. If you know their mom has brain cancer, why would you bring up the fact that you think you have a tumor in your brain?
Well, yeah,
you are stupid.
Especially if you broke down about it 3 days
I don't understand hypochondriacs, and I don't know if that's because every little ounce of pain I have, I'm like, you're fine, you're fine, and you're fine. And then until it's genuinely an issue, or it genuinely is starting to become an issue. I walked on my broken foot for 2 months.
Here's an example, something I can relate it to. After you told me about what happened, it's 3 days later, I was like, hey, my grandpa hugged me. You'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's the type of thing.
No,
if I was saying it as in
if you
as if oh my god.
Oh, I get it.
Or
So
what happened with.
I feel comfortable saying this because she keeps wanting to be my friend, and I'm sorry, it's over. There was a girl who I was really close with, and I probably sound like a piece of shit right now. Am I the asshole?
No, you're not. No.
I had a friend, I was very close with her. She was one of my best friends for a very...
Before I came along.
Shut up. She was one of my best friends for a very...
Wrong?
No. Just let me finish my sentence. You don't have to be petty right now. She was one of my best friends for a very long time, and, I felt very comfortable. I felt very close with her, and, I knew that she was going to be my friend no matter what. Basically, for a really long time. And this year kind of hit where I kind of started distancing myself from her the end of last year and basically the whole summer, because she started doing things I didn't like. She started going against my like
Your
I started
morals.
my morals, and I started getting very in depth with my health and like starting to genuinely focus on making sure I'm staying gluten free, and my foot was in a lot of pain.
Making sure you stay gluten-free?
Yeah.
You don't eat gluten-free.
Now I don't. I actually need to start getting better back into it.
We need to, both of us.
No, I'm getting really bad with it.
We need
so
to.
I need to start getting better with it. But
Okay.
anyways, she would basically not make me eat the gluten, but she'd eat it right in front of me, or just be like, "Hey, just try a bite,
Well,
just
yeah,
try a
wouldn't
bite."
you guys like make cookies?
Yeah, she would make cookies, and then when they were done, I'd be like, no, I don't really want one. And she'd be like, "Come on, you made them, you have to try one." And then I'd be like, "Okay, I'll just have one." Or she would be like, "Oh, do you want to go get our ice cream?" And when I was like, "Hey, no, that has cookies in it and that has brownies in it, I don't want to eat that." And she was like, "Oh, just eat around the brownies." And I was kind of like,
That's not how that works.
well, I was just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, you're right," like, whatever. So it was partially my fault. I'm not blaming her completely, but that doesn't matter. So when I came out so her grandfather passed away, a day after or a day before, something like that, after I said something to my mom. So I said something about mine not way before, but while her grandfather was in the hospital.
No, wasn't it just when you told her?
Yes.
Yeah,
so I said something before. So I knew her grandfather was in the hospital, and I was stuck through a lot. And I do have to say, I am a little bit of the asshole in this situation, because she helped me a lot when my uncle and my cousin died.
But also, she wasn't going through what you were going through.
And I hung out with her almost every single day. She would take me home from school. We'd hang out. I'd go to dance. We'd call, like we were very close through that time. Then, obviously, the weekends that I wouldn't hang out with her, I was the bad guy, because I was up my friend's ass, which was Lexi, and I was forgetting about her because I would hang out with my friend one day a week and a day for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it was my fault. I said something one weekend about what happened with my grandfather, and she kept calling me about her grandfather, and I was like staying by her through it. But when I was with my friends and she was calling me or texting me, like, how's it go, like, just texting me about things that she could wait to tell me. Like, I understand you're very happy about that, but if you know I'm with my friends, you don't have to call me.
I do remember her texting you once.
Yeah, and she would text me a billion times. She'd be like, live, Olivia, answer, hello, are you alive, hello. And I was just like, yes, like, are you okay? I'm sorry, I was with my friends, I'm not, like, checking my phone 24/7. And I would always be very nice to her about it, and then I would hang out with her the entire week. And on the weekends, I would want to hang out with my dance friends and my actual school friends and, like, people like that. And then the one time I was with Lexi, when I found out that he passed away, and I asked if she could drop me off after, I don't remember where we were going or what we were doing.
We were somewhere, but you did, and I did.
And she asked me about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you briefly telling me something about your grandfather, but mine, like, just died." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I told her, and at the pit, like, she was asking me questions, because I answered the questions. I was fine, like, I didn't really care. I answered what she asked me, and I was like, "But let's go, like, I want you to talk about your grandfather," telling me things, and I was like, "That's really cool." Like, I was completely 100% engaged, 100% talking to her. And then I get a text later that day, like that night or the next morning, that I was rude for talking about mine, and that I didn't let her talk about hers, and that I made the whole situation about me, when she stuck by me very closely and made sure I was very okay when my uncle and my cousin died. And I simply said, "No, you were asking me questions, and then when I was done talking about it and you didn't have anything else to ask me, we switched over to you, and we ended up sitting there for 2 hours just talking about your grandfather."
But you can also say, "Hey, right now, you can be upset. I'm here to comfort you, but I can't talk about this right now.
Yeah, and that's what
okay.
I said. And that's what I said. I said, I'm sorry. It's hard hearing you talk about your grandfather that loved you and cared about you your entire life and made sure you and your family were okay and came over to your house all the time and treated you like a genuine person and was really sweet to you. It's a little bit of a rough time for me as well. And I'm sorry the timing, but I think I need a break.
And that's fine.
It was the fact that she blamed me. Like, she said it was my fault and that I wasn't there for her when I let her talk for 2 hours when I could have been with you or hanging out with other friends who weren't making me eat bread.
And people who were being there for you.
Exactly. So I didn't go to school a lot the last
because of everything.
Few weeks. Yeah. So we ended up trying to find this like hill to go swimming, but we couldn't find it. And she was like, "Oh, you're fine. You've walked on your foot. We just have to walk 2 miles." And I was like, "No, I was actually told not to walk on my foot just in case it is like a stress fracture. I don't want to make it any worse. So is there any other place we can go?" She was like, "Yeah, I mean, we'll have the rest of the summer, so we can just find this later." And I was like, "Yeah, let's just go to whatever." And we went to a creek by us, and it ended up being fun. Like whatever. But on the way back, I was like, "Hey, can we sit? I'm gonna let my foot dry a little bit because I don't want to put it back in my boot soaking wet with dirt." Mm-hmm. And she was like, "No, come on, I want to go." And I was like, "But I'm not putting my wet foot," because we didn't have towels. I said, "I'm not putting my wet foot in my boot. You already made me walk here." And I wasn't supposed to walk without my boot. I was given very clear directions: do not walk without the boot on. And I walked on rock and dirt without my boot on because I wasn't putting my dirty foot in a boot that I knew I was going to have to wear. And I wasn't putting my sock back on because that was dirty. So I didn't see her till after we went to New York. And she was like, "Hey, can we hang out?" After we just got into a really big argument. And I left her on open. Like, I left her on red. I got a little upset when she started comparing. I'm not going to come on here and say her sorry because that's not my not my place.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's very different. I was 3. And she was not 3. And it was not with a trusted adult like a grandfather or any family member at all. This is when I got angry because I said you cannot compare the 2 situations at all. And I said, now this is I'm sorry, I'm going to need a really big break. I do not need you to talk to me for a very long time. When I'm ready to contact you, I will. And I got sent a very long paragraph. So then she said, "Hey, you want to hang out?" Never talked about it. Never said she understands where I was coming from. Never admitted. And I was like, you know what? To shut her up. And I ended up going to the mall. I was like, well, my Lexi's coming in like 30 minutes. So we have to make it quick. And she was like, "Oh, I just need to drop some clothes off and like shop a little bit." So then I had to text you and say, "Hey, I'm going to be even later." Because I decided she's taking forever and not really caring about my time or really anything and disregarding me basically the whole time. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm so thirsty. We're going to stop at Dunkin'." And I was like, "No, I do not have time for Dunkin'." I said this in the car with her. I was like, "I'm 20 minutes late. I do not have time for Dunkin'. You can drop me off and get yourself Dunkin', or I'll have my mom come and pick me up at Dunkin'. She's not that far. She's out anyway. So if you really want Dunkin', I can have my mom come get me." And she's like, "No, it's fine. I'll just drop you off." And I go, "Thank you." And then I got a long paragraph again about how I'm making everything about me. And I just said, okay. I just said, okay. Because you're not going to know where you're wrong in the situation. So there's no point of me wasting my time. And knowing that I want mine dead was also like very hard. Because hers was dead and she wanted him alive. And I wanted mine dead and he was alive. So there was a part of me that was like, you are lucky.
Yeah.
But she wasn't lucky.
Because it wasn't.
She wasn't lucky. Because it wasn't the situation. But in my head, she was lucky. And she was ungrateful. But I got called an ungrateful brat because I brought up once that I wish we could just switch situations. And then school started and I got a text saying like basically that she wanted to be friends again and she wanted to try again. And like, listen, girl, my life is a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot healthier with you not in it. And I'm sorry that this is the way we had to find out. But this is the way you had to find out. School started and she started spreading my business to my friends who were like, "Oh, did you know Olivia's grandfather, blah, 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 blah," when she was 3. And my friends were like, yeah, she actually told me, and that's not okay for you to tell.
Yeah.
And my one friend said to me at lunch one day, she was like, oh, I wanted to let you know that Miss Girl is telling everybody that this happened to you. And I was like, I've been wondering actually why people were texting me. You were pleading and begging on your knees for me to be your friend again. And now you're going to treat me like that? Like, no, girl, no.
So now she's texting her mommy.
Yeah, she texted my mom and was like, how do I get her to be my friend again? Because
Bitch, if you have to go to her mom and ask, what do I have to do to get her to be my friend? I fear you shouldn't be trying, because if you can't go to
she
her and talk
texted
to
my
her,
mom and she was like, hey, how do I get Olivia to be my friend again?
How do I get her back?
She dropped a note off at my house. No matter if I was the problem or not, if I don't want to be your friend, leave me the fuck alone!
Okay, but not even that. If you can't talk to the person you're talking about being their friend, and you have to go to their mother, maybe it's time to rethink and be like, oh, maybe this is it's just not gonna work. It's not my thing. Move on with your life.
If you're watching this, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and I'm really sorry, but
And that's okay.
you were rude to me, so
And that's okay.
I have better friends that treat me better and that care about me more. And even at school, like all my school friends too.
And don't plot to kill me. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. And stop plotting my death and wishing on my downfall.
Hey, actually, I'm gonna add this part down. She plotted to kill us, or at least threatened to plot to kill us
twice.
So, you didn't like me before.
So if you thought I was the asshole in this situation,
We did add that part. She did try. She said she was gonna try to kill us.
she said she was gonna slash our tires, and that
Cut
she was
my
gonna
brakes.
cut our brakes so that when we started going, we would not be able to stop, and eventually die. And that she was gonna come into my house and put pills in my mouth while I was sleeping and wait for them to dissolve so I die.
So actually, you hated me before. I hated you before too, but I hate you even more now. So, don't fuck with my best friend and think you're gonna get away with it. Not even that. Don't fuck with us together and think you're gonna get away with that.
Thank you for being my
You
fan.
thought you were gonna get her away from me? Yeah,
No.
Yes, she did.
I have one thing to say.
Oh.
I need the mic right here, and I need to be quoted. Is it on?
Mhm.
I just want to say thank you to her. She made me stick with my morals, find my people, and realize what I don't want to do as a friend, and how to stand up for myself, because what I said and what I did, I would have never done months ago. Kisses, fuck bitches, get money. Thank you. Thank you for making me the person I don't want to be. I can't rap. I'm so... No, I need to speak. I need to speak rap. Thanks for being my fan. You can suck my weenie. You can suck on this and suck on his too. Don't look at me funny again. Thank you for being my fan. Thank you for being my fan. Thank you for being my fan. Mic drop. Thanks for being my fan, you piece of shit. I hope you die under a car like a bitch.
We're done.
Say that. Thanks for being my number one fan. You are a little bitch. No, log in. Thank you for being my number one fan. You are a little bitch. You wanna be me? So suck my dick. You just copy me word by word. Everything I do, you have to do. Why do you always need to be in my room? You always want to be my friend, but nothing about you comes to my attention. We're like 11 years old. My little boy like, yo, freestyle. You are a weenus on my dick. You just want to suck me, baby. Yeah. You wanna be me so badly. fan so bad. You just wanna be a part of my Conrad. I can't do this anymore. I told you how many times to get on the floor. You told me that I was a brat. Look who is sucking on my sack. I have a better one.
Okay.
Thank you for trying to be my fan. You are nothing but a wee man. You think that you're so cool. Enough said. Anyways, back to the rapping. Oh shit. Thank you for being my number one fan. You always want to be in my plans. You can't get away from me. Why? Because you want to be me. Thank you for being my fan. You always want to be a part of my plan. You can't just suck the fuck up and stop trying in my life. You just can't face the fact that I'm better and that I have a better sweater. Thank you for making me realize what a G I am. You always want to be in my DMs. You always want to be my friend? Stop copying everything I do. If you want to be part of my friend group, just say that. They're better than you. You just want to be in a conflict. I don't need your drama. If you want to be me, let's see. You copy everything I do from my hair to my feet. You came in with the same things as me. You took my shit and didn't retrieve me. You want to be me, that's okay. It's okay to not have as many friends as me. Just because you're not in my friend group doesn't make me a bad person because I cut you out my life. Doesn't make me the problem.
So maybe I am the drama.
You want to play that game? Let's play. I can put you in a mental hospital in about 3 seconds because you're fucking mentally insane and you need fucking help. I hope you figure out that you're the problem and that you will need help for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Mic drop.
Hey, yo, Jim. You think that you're the shit because your name is Jim. Nothing about you screams, I go to the gym. Because your name is Jim doesn't mean you just go. You look like you belong in a bow.
Alright, we're done. Alright, are we done?
Thank you for being my number one fan. You always trying to be a part of my plans. You are just mad because you can't be friends with me. I would be too, because I'm the shit. That's okay that you don't want to be my friend.
Supposed to rhyme. You know a rap is supposed to rhyme?
No, I can't say that.
Alright, we're done.
We're done. No, we're done. We're done. Alright, guys.
We're done.
Okay, and the outro.
We're gonna
I'm
wrap.
waiting for you to do the
I need you
outro.
to give me that back so I can put her in. Thank you guys for watching.
You can find us on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Today we were the judges.
And you just got served.
Drinking sangria, nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. We won't go down.